Hello, welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. This is my new watering hole feature. The objective is to bring the wildlife closer to the cottage, and I've got a wildlife trail camera on this lamppost here, but it's a bit exposed. I mean, it's going to be a great place for the wildlife to come and drink and birds to bathe, but I need to do something to make it slightly less exposed. So I'm going to plant these three Trachycarpus Fortunei. This is the Chinese windmill palm. It's a really hardy palm. I've got 6 of these in other places in my garden. I've had them for years and they are bomb-proof. But there are a couple of things you need to know about these plants whilst you're planting them, and I will share that information with you in this video whilst I plant them. Now, I've had these in pots in my garden for 2 years. You can see how pot-bound they had become. In actual fact, these two, the small one and the medium size one, were in one pot together, and yesterday I divided them, so I've got 3 for the price of 2. So let's get on with the job of planting them. I've placed them where I think I want them. The cottage is over there behind the camera, so from the cottage the backdrop will be these 2 tall ones, and we'll have a shorter one in the foreground. I've got some marker spray here, so I'm just going to spray around them on the grass so that I know where the position is, and then I'll remove them out of the way when I dig the holes. I don't want to obscure the view from the wildlife camera. So, whilst you're watching me mark out these planting areas and fast forward, allow me to quickly remind you that you can now join my off YouTube club, which includes my newsletter and my giveaway gift bundle, and you can access that through my website, and there's a link to my website below this video. Thank you very much. So I've removed the plants and I've marked the earth. Now, in fairness, I did most of the work for this yesterday. When I got those plants out of the pots, I divided the 2 that were in one pot, and I did a lot of work on separating the roots. I basically just went at them with a fork, and I've done quite a lot of damage to the roots. That's not a problem, because that will stimulate them to grow back, and it will help them to reach out for nutrients in the soil, because they were very pot bound. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start digging the turf out. Now, the hole is wider than the root ball, but it's not going to be as deep. Whilst these might look like jungle plants, they're actually from the mountainous regions of China, where it can be very dry. So I will be planting these slightly protruding from the ground, and I will be giving them some ballast at the base with a load of rocks, which I've just got just over here. So it will actually look like it's planted in a small mountain of rocks. So let's get on with the job now of taking away the turf from these 3 holes, and I'll plant one of them. I'll only demonstrate planting one of them, and then I'll show you the finished job when all 3 are planted at the end of the video. I'm using my long-handled Irish spade here because it's got a nice pointy end on it. And it's much easier to cut into turf with that, and because it's got a nice lever, you can get underneath and bring the turf off. Now the turf will be removed and taken away, and then the soil below I'll probably keep and reuse, because they don't need a lot of nutrients. What they do need is really good drainage, and the soil that these plants came in tells a story, because it's actually full of little pebbles, and they were obviously put in by the people that grew these and sold them to help with the drainage. So as you can see, I've removed the turf from our 3 holes. Now, I mentioned drainage. Drainage is very, very important, because if that sits in water, it will get root rot and it will not be a happy plant. Eventually, it will probably die. They don't mind being root bound, but the one thing they don't like as well is strong wind. They don't like to be exposed to strong winds. It can damage the leaves. So ideally, position them in a breeze. You can put them in full sun or shade, but try and avoid a strong biting wind, especially in the winter time. Now, I don't want that to be planted so that it's sitting in a hollow, because if it's sitting in a hollow, the water will run off and go in to the roots and keep the roots too wet. So I'm going to put that in a shallow hole so that the base of it protrudes slightly off the ground. Then, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to give it some ballast with some rocks. So the next thing I'll do is I will dig the hole, and I will be using my spade, and I'll be putting an incline on the outside of the hole, because I think it's easier to backfill a hole if the sides are not too vertical. So if you do it like that, you can get your soil back in. Right, let's get this out the way, get the shallow hole dug, and then get it back in. And there will be one thing to do before I put that back in, that hole. Using my long-handled Irish spade once again to remove some of this soil, which I will be putting back in actually. Now, where I live, a foot to 18 inches below the soil, this topsoil, is pure sand, which is brilliant for drainage. Now, if you live where there is not sand or not good drainage, for example, if you've got clay, you need to do something about it. So I would suggest that you add grit or shingle to the soil around the base of the plant before you replant it, so that it helps the water get away from the roots. So you can see here now, I hope, that I've got a shallow hole with sloping edges, quite a flat bottom. Now, despite the fact that it's been raining consistently for the last 2 or 3 days, this is dry soil down here. It's also very compacted. About 6 inches below that is sand. So I'm going to take a slightly belt and braces approach now. I'm going to add some pea shingle to the hole and then fork it in. And this will just help with additional drainage, just to help the water get away. We're in October, November. It's a great time to do this actually, because there's still some warmth in the earth, so the roots should get some growth before we get into the cold winter, and it won't be feeding a growing plant because the plant will be going into dormancy. So that now is quite gritty, so I'm quite comfortable with that. I've also opened it up so it's not as compacted. Now you can see here the roots was really quite compacted and pot bound, so I've gone at it with my fork and done quite a bit of damage and opened it up. And this will encourage the roots to reach out and find new sustenance. I'm going to try and get that in there now, and then I'll demonstrate how I'm going to get it vertical. Right. So I've repositioned the camera. Can you see here how this is slightly above ground level? If I bring a piece of wood in, you can see there's a good 3 or 4 inches of what I would say the crown, or I don't know, the base of that plant is above the earth there. It's certainly not sitting in a hollow. Now, how do I get that vertical? Well, from this close up, I can't tell if it's vertical. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to step away from it, look at it from one angle, and then look at it from another. And when you feel confident that it's vertical, get a little bit of soil in, just around the base, on 2 or 3 sides. And that will start to secure it in place. Now, if I get my fist in there and just gently secure it, and then I will step back again and have another look. And I'll do that 2 or 3 times just to make sure it's not gone off vertical. For me, there will be nothing worse than if I get these 3 in and one of them isn't quite vertical. That's good. I'm going to get some more of this lovely topsoil in. Now you'll notice I'm not adding any food. Deliberately, I've got food. I'm deliberately not adding it because we're going into winter. it doesn't really need food because it's going to be going into dormancy. We'll get some root growth before it does go into winter, but it doesn't need feeding at this time. In actual fact, I don't think these ever need feeding really, unless you've got them in pots and then you can top dress them with some slow release. I have had these in pots in my garden, not these but other ones, for 5 years without repotting them, and they've been great. So that is pretty vertical, very vertical, firmed in. I'm going to get some water in. I'm going to use my hose pipe now. I'm going to soak it. It will give it some hydration, but it will also wash the soil in and amongst the roots. So that will now be washing that soil in and amongst those thick roots, and it will be making contact with the roots' gravity, and water will wash it down in and amongst the roots. And there's bacteria in this soil which will start to stimulate root growth, believe it or not. I'm going to show you something now which I really like about these Trachycarpus, and that is the way they've evolved and adapted with these palm-shaped leaves to collect rain. If I put that onto shower and just drop it over the top, you'll see that that is almost like an upside down umbrella gathering that rain down these funnels, and it goes all the way down the trunk to the base of the base of the plant. And these leaves no doubt will have received bird droppings or particulates, organic matter, which will drop down and feed the plant at the base. So it's great how nature and evolution has adapted that. What I'm going to do next is get some more soil in. Then I will firm it a little bit down, and then I'll put some rocks on top, which will be the ballast that keeps it nice and steady, because they do act as a sail, these plants. They can be quite susceptible to movement because of all these leaves. And don't forget, these leaves, the palms, they stay there all winter when we do have our windy spells in this country. Let's just get that firmed in. I'll try and hold it steady and just get my foot in and a bit of weight. So the final thing for me to do now is to get some ballast around these roots. These rocks are quite heavy, and they will help it remain in place. They'll also provide little crevices for wildlife to hide in and shelter. I will do the other two, and I will show you the finished result in a moment. So there we go, 3 Trachycarpus planted around my watering hole with a wildlife camera. Hope you have enjoyed that. I've had a good workout today, and I'll probably go and have a nice hot bath now. I will put my care tips for these plants in the description box below. I'll also link to the other videos, the making of the watering hole, the wildlife camera, and the dividing of the Trachycarpus, in the description box below this. Another feature of these plants which I really like is this sort of hairy trunk. It's great because the birds come and take it and make nests with it, and I think it also insulates the plant in the winter. Some people take it off and strip it and smooth the trunks off. I like them as they are. Right, it's starting to rain. The clocks have just gone back. It's starting to go dark. So I'll see you soon for some more Trachycarpus adventures. Bye for now.